Yeah.
Hi, Nneoma, my darling girl.
What do you do?
People, it's actually recorded from the go.
Yes, Nam.
We
So,
don't play. We don't
where will
play.
it be recorded from? Where will it be
I
recorded
don't even
from?
know. I don't know. From the stomach, maybe.
As you don't understand, like where, from which part? Which part of the body? Oh, it's so nice to have you here.
I
I'm glad that,
know.
like, almost in everything that we do, you're like such a go-to. We're like, yeah, let's invite
That's
you.
crazy. Yeah.
I love
But
it.
also,
I'm
you.
always thinking about you guys as well. Like, I'm always saying,
Yes, you've been putting us on. We're just very
Always. We're so grateful. Can we do second collection as it is normal?
grateful.
no, you guys should just join my research lives thing and, like,
Well, you
Yes.
know we're already in it.
I know. And I actually,
What's up?
I know.
We're in it. We're in it. How are you guys? Sorry, you guys, please give me 1 second.
I'll answer. I'm actually no my answer. Should we call you Makita for the purposes of this call?
Either one, both of them work. I always introduce myself as both.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm currently doing my nails and I lit a candle and my sister is in the bathroom taking a bath. But our bathtub is really weird. So like it's never comfortable. So she's Googling like what should a bath feel like? How is it meant to be? So there's a very like general sense of calm and
Mm,
chill in the house, right?
yeah. What is the environment outside? Is it bright? Is it dark?
Ooh, is the
Is it
best. Is gray. Gray. You know that London gray that is actually
London
so gray,
Grey?
half color.
Yeah.
That's how great it is. But it's really nice because that's what I need. The sun,
Mm,
like right now, I'm in the middle of writing my dissertation, and the sun when it
yeah.
comes, it's just very hot. So it's nice outside.
I had this thing like when I was in uni in London.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't, like I really struggled to do work or just be productive when it was sunny because it
Right.
felt like such a luxury and felt like such a waste to not be frolicking in the sun.
Yeah.
Uh, so I feel you.
I'm just
Embracing-
doing silently to make sure that my shoes don't make an appearance on the call.
That's real. But
That's
feel
so
free to
good.
do.
Anyway, I'll find out how you guys said you are when I re-listen. To Zoma, go please.
I'm sat on this like balcony terrace with a cup of detox tea. I'm actually not. They just said detox tea. I'm not sure what kind of detox tea it is, but
Yeah.
it's like in this like really beautiful clay cup with a very cute like tea set to match.
What
And
if it's detoxifying colonization from your skin?
sorry, what?
Please don't mind me. Please go on. Go on.
Um, and yeah, I'm happy. Like I really like terraces.
Yeah.
Like those are my favorite parts of buildings. Um, so yeah, I'm happy that I have
balconies.
this one is like a bit of both. But like usually they're like glorified balconies, I would say. Like balcony without oppression. Because like
Balcony
there's
without
no
what?
oppression.
Wow.
Because
Please say more.
there's no like ceiling usually.
Oh.
It just protrudes from the building, but there's no ceiling. Usually balconies have ceiling.
Do you think ceilings are oppressive?
I'm just like I want to see the sky, you know, like I want to look up.
Fair.
That's just me.
Nneoma, how are you?
I was just telling Uzi that I was calm, I'm chill. I'm generally very dissatisfied, which is how I am when I'm writing my dissertation or writing anything. Like you need to be dissatisfied. You need to feel like something is annoying you and you're trying to do like unannoy the thing. So I'm good. I'm annoyed.
Wow.
So I'm calm. I'm very chill there.
That's so complex. That's so complex and complicated. So, like, basically, you're an academic because you like this of unrest and unease.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Wow. I
That's
feel
real.
that because it happens to me too.
Yeah.
But that's what now makes you want to come and move back. But you
Move
should
back.
not do that.
Move back where?
Why are you discouraging
Nigeria
that?
now.
Sorry, move back where? Move
No,
Well,
back.
move back if you
when
want.
you want to, when you tried to come and move back.
I don't know that, but I don't recognize I have no recollection of what you speak
I'm actually
of.
weak. I'm weak. Detox your memory. Detox your experience.
It's gone. I have no recollection. I was thinking about that just last week because I've been feeling really good with life in general. And I was like, wow, I almost did not come back. Almost.
Mm,
What?
mm.
Yeah.
What was stopping you from going back to London?
How much I hated like my program, my course, being in the university I was, my life, like where I was in, those, hmm, the way people talk about the dark night of the soul, just where you just feel like you literally cannot see beyond, like you're so there in the like pit of your life. Like this for a fact that if your life had a graph, this is definitely a pit, no matter where you go in the future. And I was just like, anything is possible. So why should I choose the one that I really dislike? Like this, going back to this place, since everything was going to be a bad option anyway, why like, choose this one? Um, yeah, and it was going to be winter. I did not have friends, or I didn't think I had friends here. Just didn't seem like a good idea. But
So
yeah,
what changed?
Yeah,
Now that
what happened? This was about to ask.
yeah. One
great
random day,
minds, Uzoma.
Yes.
I was talking to one of my friends, and they just came up. This woman who I had researched with in 2018. She came to my mind, and we talked about her because we were talking about like I don't know what we're talking about. But I just like, oh, let me email this woman, tell her, what I'm doing, where I am. Let's see what she has to say. And she was like, I understand what you're saying. I get you. And I feel like I can't sympathize with you because I'm not in your situation, can never be. But my father would always say to choose the thing that, or you feel would leave your more doors open for you. And
Mm,
for me, I think going back to finish your master's is a thing, but you know your
mm,
life best. And I was just like, I actually needed someone to tell me something to do.
Mhm.
I
Wow.
did in that second, and I
But
said,
didn't your parents try and tell you things to do? Is it that you didn't want the way, like the form that they were telling you?
mm,
"Good question." I think it was because I didn't trust my parents with that part of my life. So
mm,
yeah, I wasn't really giving value to that. Plus, they had things at stake. Like they were paying my school fees. It was an investment. Like they wanted returns on that investment. But this was a woman who, she didn't have anything to gain from it or anything. She was just giving me her own 2 cents. And I trusted her so with this part of my life.
Before we go too far, good time because you know how it is with us talking. Where
Yeah.
we're at next thing we're in like 25, like so. I just want us to take a moment and introduce you, but we'll have you introduce yourself. Like how if you were introducing yourself to my 1-year-old niece, Iris, who everybody knows I'm obsessed with.
Yes.
She's so cute. How would you introduce yourself to her?
I would tell her that my name is Immaculata or Nneoma, depending on which one she likes. And generally, all my work, like everything I do, is an attempt to make stories or solutions that make people feel better and make people feel like they know themselves a bit more.
That's lovely.
Thank you. I've practiced it. It's not my first
I
time.
was going to. I know. I was going to ask. I was like, did you just come on the spot? Like, oh,
No.
I mean, because now that you say it, it also clarifies some things. Because I think that you even make solutions through stories. Like you
Yeah.
storyify your solutions.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that like I'm so I've been thinking about a business idea, and the whole time the only way I've been able to think about it is this is a story. This is a story of the world I want.
Mm-hmm.
And it just happens to be a solution. Like it's a solution and a story at the same time. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because the stories,
mm.
one thing I have at the top of my bed now is stories are sustaining structures.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. I also think they're sustainable in their form, which is you can always retell and
Mm-hmm.
change the story.
So, like, stories are recyclable.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's actually amazing. And like the better told stories are easy to recycle.
Yeah. I'm taking notes. Let me.
Because you, oh my god, is this where Uzoma gets his thing from?
No, that's just me.
Uzoma is a premium note taker. You just be having conversation. Next thing he's just quiet, and you're just like, yeah, yeah, don't worry, I'm just taking notes.
Yep.
Where did you pull out the note taking device from?
It's it's always present, man. Always on me.
The note taking artist is always present.
Yeah. Do I
Okay.
get you guys to introduce yourself, or have you done all of that already?
Yeah, we've been doing it, but maybe I'll try. If I was to introduce myself to Iris, I would tell her that, hey, it's me, your auntie Shishi, the baddest bitch in the world. Full stop.
Is that what she called you?
No, she doesn't. She doesn't even call me anything. She doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, she knows
So you're
me, but she doesn't know
projecting
how to say
on
it.
Iris.
Exactly. At first, he used to introduce me as Sheila to like Ira, my other nephew, but he just clung to Chiamaka.
Ewo.
Kabaka. So I was like, obviously, this guy is an Igbo speaking nigga. So he was like, oh,
Yeah.
Sheila, please get the Colonial out of my mouth, you.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
that Iris is probably also going to call me Chiamaka. But I would introduce myself to her also as someone who enjoys providing alternative ways of or existing or breathing. Um, yeah, to people who are looking for alternative solutions.
Yeah. I 100% see that. Especially, I love how you actually put the breathing in because it's something that I feel like you've given me in my life. I mean, gone for like yoga a bunch of times and meditation things and therapy. But I always now think, when I think of breathing from, my stomach, I think,
Yes. Even
Love
yesterday, I actually brought diaphragm breathing to someone's life, but he was not. If I'm promiscuous, does this affect? I was like, this is why you can't teach niggas things because it's not asking you questions that have nothing to do with it.
I say,
How
wait,
does
no, I genuinely
promiscuity have
don't
to do
get.
with diaphragm breathing?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's another podcast. Join us on Niggas and Shit. Soma, how would you introduce yourself to Iris?
I would say, hi, Iris. I'm out here trying to expand what we can, like what we know. Sorry, that's very vague. Like, I'm, I'm very into the idea of like world building as a practice
Right.
recently.
Mm.
I would watch maybe like Barney and Friends with Iris
Mm-hmm.
because Barney be doing that stuff and like he's, on some
You think Barney's
imagination.
a world builder?
For real, like imagination is a technology, like that's his MO. And
I don't remember much about Barney. I feel like I should.
yo,
I
Barney,
only remember his obsession with celery, and it made me want to. That's the thing about stories is that stories can go things that are not true. Celery does not taste good, and I was being for
Oh, what
celery
the
before I
hell?
tasted it.
yeah, I vaguely remember Celery as well. They were just always doing stuff like with cardboard and
Yeah, the cardboard I remember. Always doing stuff together.
Remember the cardboard. I remember that Barney was always encouraging people to do things together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yes,
Wow.
that's I feel like that's the energy I'm trying to like be on. So
Actually,
I'll
so
put Barney Iris.
what piece of media brings you people like into time the most?
For me, it's photography.
What particular, not the medium, the media, something that has been like the product, something
An
you really,
image.
yes.
A photo. Something, whether it's digital, whether it's my eyes, or like, like if I'm able to see a frame of something that is an image. I think like if I think of photography, like in the aspect of like, oh, a product of, art or creative production, whatever, there's always like there's always something interesting going on there that like reminds me to pause and sit and pay attention that I like.
Mhm.
And then when we think of image in a more general sense, it's basically what all like therapists and like mental health, wellness people keep advising me, which is, grounding yourself by paying attention to the image in front of you to remind yourself that this thing is out there. This thing is like you are with something. You're not alone. This thing is growing outside you. This thing exists to continue to be there. That's what image does for me.
What's your favorite image that does that for you?
Do I have one? I don't know that I have one. I'll pass on that question. I don't have one.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll come back.
Yeah.
Udoma, do you have a piece of like media that brings you back in time? That just kind of like it kind of shows you almost how far you existed on this earth, and like it just does something to time for you.
I don't know. I don't think so. But I also don't think that's a bad thing. Like the things that do that for me, they haven't been produced, right? They're like existing in the world already. So I just need to like tap into that.
Okay. So like what?
So like just like what's been like happening, like what's been doing that for me a lot is like doing the dishes, stuff like that. Like,
I like
doing
that.
the dishes and like feeling the soap and like just feeling the fact that I'm standing in front of the sink. So stuff like that. Media actually
I love
does
that
the
you brought that
opposite.
up.
Yeah.
Because it reminds me of like my brother just celebrated his birthday, and then he sent me a picture of him eating food. So I now said, as in like, you did chop too much. Oh." He now reminded me, like, do you remember when we used to, because every Friday, we used to have this thing called special dinner, because my dad used to live in a different state. So he'd come back on Friday and then he would buy food from Mr. Biggs. And then, so we would get the chicken and then maybe meat pie or something. So the next Saturday was that cartoon morning, like in the morning where the Cadbury, yes. So when we now had to wake up early to watch it, we'll now like keep like on Friday we would have saved like maybe chicken and meat pie to use to watch in the morning. So we'll now exchange like maybe like for the crust of my meat pie, like I'll collect the skin of his chicken.
Yeah.
I'm like, that shit is so specific. And I don't know, it just brings me, once I get a memory so detailed, I feel like a child. I feel almost reduced in size. I know the smell of the parlor. I know the even the color of time, like how, like I don't know, and I see it in pictures. Like I was telling someone that it was only when I was actually in like my third year of college that I realized, oh my god, like when black and white movies were made, the world was not black and white. It was actually in color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like there's something there about media and time. Like my thoughts, as always, my thoughts are still forming as I'm saying them, but
So it's like to change your name to My Thoughts Are Still Forming.
My thoughts are forever forming, but there's just something there. Like it's just so interesting. Like the scene thing is not the thing. It's like the Magritte thing. I don't know. My thoughts are still forming.
Signed, my thoughts are still forming.
My thoughts are still forming. But Nneoma, I have a question.
Yeah.
So I was reading an essay yesterday. I haven't finished. It was talking about how time probably goes as we grow older. Like when you're older, your experience of time is faster than what you as a child. And they were talking about the difference between mind time and clock time. I think that was what they called it.
Yeah.
And
is that one of the ones I sent you?
What?
On that thing.
Yes.
Is that one of the ones? Okay, yes. I read it too. Yeah.
It's so beautiful. So by like, let's say that I don't gone into that article. So what do you think that about with that distinction? Or do you even see any possible distinction between mind time or clock time?
I think, there's definitely, I feel a distinction between mind time and clock time, but I don't know that I see it yet in the way they describe it as like when you're a child, time, because like, I don't know, I've not I've never sat down to feel like, oh, I feel like time is moving differently now that I'm older than when I'm younger. Because there's some pockets of moments, in your everyday life, no matter how old you are, that feel really long, and then some that feel really like snapping. And I don't know if that changes, as you grow older. That I don't know about. But for sure, I can say that clock time moves differently from mind time. Like clock time is abstract. Mind time, you feel it, you're living it. Like the tree, like if I also think of the mind of other living organisms, right? They don't move by clock time.
Mm.
Even like your body has multitude of other organisms, they're not moving, they have their own time, and sometimes it's not always 5 minutes, not always
Yeah.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
While clock time is always, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, it sets on like, I don't know, a quartz. So I can't remember what the science of clock is, but you get what I'm saying. That I
Yeah.
believe.
Quartz time. Quartz. Can you imagine that quartz is literally a stone?
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah.
it's just the vibration of this one stone from this particular rock that
Mm.
now everybody has to plant into their lives,
Mm-hmm.
like moments that pass by.
Yeah. This is something that we had to like. I don't know. Okay, I don't know if I've spoken to both of you individually about how I took a class on this past, what's it called, term semester. And so we like had to study the beginning of like clock time. We didn't study the science of it, but we studied like clock time, standardization of clock time across different places, and like also the colonial standardization of time from like Europe to into Africa. And it's so insane. It's really like it causes lots of conflicts in places because everybody's mind time is moving differently depending on your occupation, the way your culture, your society is organized, what you prioritize, etc. And the clock time is literally there. Like I don't give a fuck about you.
I don't. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yo. Yeah. This. My thoughts have formed a bit more about what we're saying,
Thank God.
and like, I just feel like there's a connection here between, if we think of clock time as an abstraction of time,
Mm-hmm.
right, and like we think of media as well as an abstraction, like how Sheila was saying that the black and white film doesn't, like, it's not a direct representation of the real world. It's just an
Yeah.
abstraction representing it. Like there's something to be said about like this, like the effort we constantly make to abstract the world, just like measurable and meaningful.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's just an interesting thing to observe, and it becomes warped. It's like money as well. Like money
Yes.
becomes warped
Yes.
when you forget that it's an abstraction and you begin to take it as the thing, right?
I think it.
Yeah,
Sorry. Did I cut you off?
I was done.
Okay, I was just so. I think I just came to the observation almost that like, is it our dependence on these things for like order or for meaning that actually now corrupts or warps it?
That is such an existential question.
I swear that's why I had to. That's why it came in my brain. And I had to just spit it out because I was like,
Yeah.
oh, actually, is it that like, because let's say like if we get a plant and we're like, well, okay, it took this plant 6 months to get to this stage. Do you think the plants are looking at us and being like, well, it took this human like, I don't know, 30 tectonic secondary chlorophyll branches to, I don't know, to grow their eyebrows out? What's the necessity of looking at something and knowing that it has taken 6 months to get to this day? Do other creatures have that desire? Like, do you think they have that desire to kind of like notice what has changed? Because in a way, I think that time may also be to notice what has changed. And what does that mean? What does that, where does that desire come from? Like, to want to notice that something has like, is it that we desire growth so much that we want to like keep our eye on whether it's happening or not happening?
I think there are extremes of it. There's the extreme that results us into what we have today as hypercapitalism. But I feel like
Yes.
there are also other versions of that desire to engage with the world in a measurable way that necessarily have to be like, I would rather have not necessarily been about this desire for growth and conquering. But I just don't. Yeah, it's a very interesting.
Can you say more? Like, what could those other motivations be?
There was this essay I was reading by Aileen Gastel.
Mm.
Oh yes, I still have to read it. Actually,
Uh,
to me,
Which,
Aline.
is it the Museums of Inquiry?
Yes, I think
Yeah,
that's the
okay.
motivation.
That's the one I was just reading. Last thing I read outside my school.
Shout out Aline Gastel.
Shout out.
Out. But in it, she was basically she talked about a lot of things. But something that stood out to me that's relevant to this conversation now is how like some people learn. How do I say this now? Some people learn different ways to engage with or tolerate difference, and so
Mm.
tolerate like multiplicity and diversity and blah blah blah. And not every society has had the same like heritage of like dealing with that. So like with this society or culture that museums came from, but definitely at that point in time we're about trying to measure to conquer. But then if we think of other places that not to essentialize other places, but
Mm.
I imagine like places that did not come up with like institutions like the museum, right? They were engaging with culture and engaging with like other people's differences and measuring it in terms of like understanding it and being able to categorize it in their head. But it wasn't a thing for them to feel like, oh, I can grasp the entirety of it. It's just like, okay, I know this and I know that there's going to be a more like an infinite multiplicity of it.
Right.
So that way they're not trying to like,
To know it to the end.
Yeah.
Like know the bottom.
yeah. So they are knowing it and knowing that there's never going to be a bottom, while some people are knowing it to get to the end and to get the most and to I think that's the difference.
I had a really good conversation. Well, so what am I saying? It was a terrible conversation because I think it was good in the fact that it illuminated to me how terrible a conversation can be.
Wow.
Like because it was just
That's mad.
true. Because what this person was talking about was like we can't know anything. Like there's nothing, we can't ever say we know anything, so that's why we have to sort of like always admit that we're nothing. But it was really hard for me because I was thinking because he was saying at one point, like, let's say that we're all a human is basically a formula and a mix of particles, and then if we're just a mix of particles, then I'm saying, but if we are a mix of particles, how do we end up at nothing? Because do you think particles are nothing? Like, aren't particles something? So this morning when I woke up and I started thinking of the difference between you are nothing and you have nothing. Like, human being, I think is that distinction, is that thin line between understanding that you may be something but you do not have, because to have is almost to own. And I not there's that kind of like knowledge that wants to consume a thing. It wants to know to the bottom of it so that it can say, I can operate you. I know all the ways that my phone can work. Like I am the master of the phone. I am the master over this person. But if knowing that like I am a human being and I also have like I came into this world having nothing and I will also leave having nothing, then in the middle of it, I will also continue to just very different time like signatures of having nothing too. Like even if it's like some way, maybe it won't be everything. Like I won't have everything of anything. So do you guys think that there is a distinction? And also, just to your point, Makulasa, before I even forget, of museums, I remember talking to Abubakar Fofana, this master indigo dyer, and his biggest thing was saying museums are cemeteries. He was like, according to the African culture, he was like, in Mali, like everything that is in a museum needs to be alive to actually make sense to us. So when people go there and ponder upon a thing that is dead and think that it's most alive when it's a museum, it's actually it's a what of what time means, because go to those places to experience the thing. You go to the condition where the thing is relevant to actually like experience it. But then the question is, should we just admit that we're experiencing different stages of the thing? So the person who goes to the festival is experiencing the stage where the thing is born, and maybe the person who goes to the museum facing the stage where the thing is dead.
I mean, I think the again, like so many other questions that we've been asking and have been asked. Like the problem with making that assumption is like the museum purports itself as this sort of like authority, like and it tries to make it as if like the death stage is the most important stage. So
Exactly. But oh my god, but isn't that the only stage at which you can claim to have something when it's dead?
I can't speak for it, so
I think this now relates to like the earlier question of knowing to the bottom.
Yes.
Like what's that need to claim ownership or claim, like where does that come from? Like do you get what I mean? Like why can't it just be a thing?
Yeah, no,
like when people say I can't figure you out, I'm like, what are you doing trying to manipulate me from afar?
Yeah.
Man, I think that's like
that's the question you've asked, Uzoma.
Sorry?
I think we know the answer. Some people just feel that need, and I don't know if they should. Like, it's harmful. I mean, it can have consequences that are disastrous, but we know that some people feel that way.
Yeah.
And some cultures, some organizations have been built, some institutions have been built to do that.
On the other hand, because some of the reasons that, like, even in this process of, let's say, archiving Igbotics, which I'm calling it, like all the ways of existing Iboli in the world, like some, even let's say, like recipe something or like planting, some people who actually have the most neatly and well preserved instructions or manuals, like even talking about Abubakar Fofana, we're looking at equipment for weaving, and one of the best books, the book that like he holds about the tools for weaving and like just spinning the cotton, was actually made by German.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, go on, Zoma.
Please finish.
Oh, I was saying, so in a way, urge also like to own a thing also makes them very delicate, like makes them very careful and very devoted to like organizing and displaying a thing in that way.
I don't think it's always like, I think it can have these consequences that are disastrous, especially if they're like, if that's now the entirety of the institution or the person's process. Like everything can be generative. Like yeah.
I feel like I have two questions.
Okay.
But I'll forget one because I struggle to hold on to two thoughts at once. The first thing is like, so the first thing is the question, like, because that's also something that like I've been thinking about a lot, is that conflict between, it's like the fact that, we're even having this conversation the way we're having it. Like, it's like you have your laptop open, whatever, like where, like, you're like a beneficiary of that ethos, like that design, like, so it's like acknowledging that, but also acknowledging all the shortcomings of it, like, and just trying to like reconcile those two things, even like from a personal point of view, because like I'm asking all these questions, I'm doing this research, but like I'm still like, how am I doing it? And sorry, this was even the other question I had, like, it's like the access to, so we talk about like, oh, it's hard to do research on Igbo culture, blah blah blah. There are no like materials, blah blah blah, all of that. But like, is that the problem, or is the problem that like the way that we know how to do this research, ask these questions, are like just not accessible to us? Like there are other ways that like, just as the thing has been lost, the way of knowing the thing has also been lost. So like we don't really have access to these things anymore because we don't know how to access them. That's like on one hand. And then what was the other? See?
Oh wow. Yeah, at the point we didn't want to end up at.
It will come to me like as somebody else is talking. So
but I'm not into everything you said.
Yeah, that's just been like one of the questions. And I was actually speaking to Nneoma, who we're going to be talking to next week. We had an amazing conversation, and like she was talking about she brought up like somatic meditation and that just blew my mind because like her whole thing was and this is just one technology like that you can use to access like certain truths that you're looking for.
Yes.
So like her whole thing was like the answers you're looking for, right, are embedded within like your own body, and you have to be like really in touch with your body to like access them. And I was like, whoa, like that was just like so crazy. Like there are no depths, there's no end to this. But it's like we're in such a culture and just a mode of being, especially as like Western educated people, that is just like such a break from that. Like, because even as she was saying it, I was like, are you sure? But like my body was responding to it. Like my mind was being blown, but like my at the same time I was also like, So I don't know. Like, yeah.
Yeah, because like, have you read? I mean, this guy that wrote the Body Keeps Score. I always forget his name. I refer to him a lot. Thank you.
Yes.
He was talking about the mechanism of using the finger, like how sometimes people who go through the most trauma will go to therapists, like psychotherapists, and they would be talk-based therapists, and therapists would be asking them, "Also, tell me how this." I hear you say, and then they just shut down, like, "Sorry, I don't understand. Like, I don't know what that is." Like, it's not as if they're lying, even though they're not revealing the truth. They don't even know that there is a truth to be told. But then when they now do the finger thing, it's almost like a combination lock, like how you move that thing, and then a part of their brain just unlock, and the memory comes to them. Because sometimes your body has to hide certain memories because survival is the most important like thing, is the most important force for most bodies in the world, like especially those unconscious. So when you reach a certain level of consciousness and you have to like go from survival to thriving, you have to face a lot of that memory. Like you have to like bring those memories to the front them. So you can't go to the same path, because it's almost like you're becoming a completely new human being, learning that like it's okay. It's like how people, all these films about multiple personalities, how people create new personalities so that they can protect themselves, but they can't protect themselves. They have to actually create a different body, like the shape of the person changes, how they walk changes, how they dress changes. So like I always tell people that I don't see any healing from a disembodied place. I don't believe that we can sit down in our houses and theorize what we need to heal, which I guess is back to Abubakar Fofana's point about the cemeteries being a place for, like, sorry, the museums being cemeteries. Because like in festivals, you literally have to move through a crowd. In moving through a crowd, your body is already acting differently.
I have two questions at this point.
Please write them down, I beg.
No, for real, shout out to the Sylvander Coke's book, like life changing.
Yeah.
So my question.
I've been seeing it referenced a lot, and I know it'll be fire. So my two questions are: what do we do with this info? Like, we know the importance of like embodied knowledge and embodied information, and using the body as a site of like accessing, knowledge, like ancestral knowledge. In fact, like sometimes, So like, how do we now start using it in our research projects, just in our lives? And then the second thing is like in the digital, like when obviously digital era, blah blah blah, all of that stuff we know. But the digital space can be such a disembodied place as well. Most of the time, you're accessing things via a screen. So like, how can we now also begin to bring this thinking into how we begin to navigate like new spaces and like essentially like new frontiers of like just being.
Oh, so that was a question for me, right?
Yeah, I'm actually waiting for you, Makilasa.
Okay, so I feel like the first question, I feel like this is Sheila's forte as well. So I'm also open to hearing from you guys. Like, suggestions, but for me, it's practicing listening to your body already. Like you get better by doing, and like the body especially is one place where you have to actually like you have to feel it, and you have to keep learning how to like. The more you use your intuition as your body's intuition, the more you're able to use it. Which is what I'm doing. Like listening to my like I'm doing something and I'm asking myself, like checking in with my like my toes, my feet, my leg, my oh my god, my sister is always telling me to release my ass because it's always so tense.
It's
And
so
so like if
important.
it's so important. So if I'm feeling somehow like I think I check in with that, like, oh I do like let me know what's going on. Are we there? Is that what we're at right now? And the more I ask this question, the more I'm able to recognize the answers. But that's where I am right now with my journey of what am I doing with this information that embodied knowledge is what like is necessary. Second question was how so about well-being. I also feel like it's not completely not embodied because like I feel like the power of like what we do with our eyes is essentially where our bodies will connect us with like digital world. And I
Even
think
our
it's
fingers.
sorry?
Even our fingers.
Yeah, and our fingers, right? I feel like there's a lot to be said about those, like, those parts, those interfaces. Because maybe, I don't know, all those pictures they write of like the homo computer person. And like, I don't know, maybe our eyes, our entire head, and like our fingers become our entire arms. Who knows?
Right.
But yeah, Sheila and Uzoma, I want to know what you guys are doing with this fact.
Before you catapult that question back to us, I still need to. I'm very interested because, as a photographer,
Yeah.
like you also you have a device that is quite mechanical in the way that the phone is. In fact, people might argue that the relevance of the phone right now is in its camera. Like when phones are advertising themselves, they advertise almost first what their camera can do. How do you think like your practice is more or allows you to be more embodied, like versus when you're using the phone as a phone?
It really does. And I don't know if that's even because probably because I already am in a photography. Every time I take a walk, I have to bring my phone. Like and I'm using my phone not as the phone, but as like, the second eye, the freezing eye. I'm using my phone to spend more time. So like first of all, it's like I'm looking right, and like the moment where I see an image, I bring out my phone to capture it. But then I'm using my phone as a way of playing with that image that I'm seeing, checking it from different angles, just like really enjoying the blues of what I'm seeing. And I like it's something that again therapists have also asked me to without even knowing that I'm a photographer. Even though maybe they don't say with like use your camera, but they're like, oh, when you walk, like really try and pay attention, really try and like spend time with the things you're seeing. That's how the tool works for me. I don't know if I was answering your question.
So do you think that your phone, like as a device, actually helps you bring more attention to your body?
It does. Like in that way, in those times, right? But it's like different parts of my body, not my entire body. It's still the same thing it's one part of your body because in spending that time with that flower and using my phone to see or engage with that flower in a different way, it's almost like cooking the flower, like in the way that you can say is the pot helping you be more embodied. It's helping me and like bring out a different smell from the food, a different
Right.
experience of that thing, and I'm feeling it. When I feel the beauty, I'm feeling the pleasure of it in my body.
So do you think that the phone helps you more when you use it as a tool to take the world rather than as a tool to consume the world? Do you feel
Right?
it
Yeah,
different?
I would. Yeah, there's definitely a it like 1 hour spent taking pictures is not the same feeling as 1 hour spent on Instagram consuming pictures, and I think we know this. Like even if
What's the
I'm staring at
difference
my
for you?
even though I'm staring at my screen, I don't. I've actually never thought about this. So, like, also, I'm currently forming my thoughts. But, but I know, like, just in saying that, like, I've had 1 hour of doing after taking pictures. I always feel replenished. I always feel like I have seen beauty and felt beauty. Um,
Yes.
And beauty is something, I don't know, star sign, whatever. Beauty is just something that really feeds me. And as opposed to like all the 1 hours that I have spent, scrolling through IG and really hating myself for, because also I feel when you go out to explore something, there's an intention of what you're going for. You're choosing what you're like following your beauty down that path. Like you're following yourself, right?
Yes.
But when I'm consuming, these things are running to me and like they're taking me places that I'm not choosing to be going to, and that I maybe do not need to like be seeing these juxtapositions, and they're coming at me like in the wrong way.
That's a very
Instagram
important.
Yeah.
That's like the bane of our existence right now. We don't even know it. We don't even know it.
So, my
But
sister,
like,
why we wanted to create our app. That was actually a challenge.
for real, like I've been on a digital mindfulness like wave. Like I've been thinking about this stuff a lot. I'm even like, Sheila, we'll talk. Like
We'll talk. We'll obviously talk. We'll talk on niggas in shit too.
But this is the challenge that I wanted to throw to your earlier, your answer to my question, Nneoma. That's like talking about like our eyes and fingers as interfaces, right? I feel like that's fair, but we need to go beyond that because our eyes, like, what do our eyes and fingers become on a platform like Instagram where we're scrolling, where our skills are? Do you understand? Like,
it's almost like imagine like your finger going into the phone, the world of Instagram, and like your finger is the thing that drags worlds up or down. Like the scale of that imagination, as I'm thinking about it, is so very different because it's someone's world, but beneath your finger, it's smaller than your finger, and your finger is one of the smallest parts of your body.
Yeah,
that I feel like honestly, it's like I think about how like sometimes something happened. The last time I was on Instagram, I saw an amazing photo posted by Wami Aluko. And I was like, in the moment, I was like, okay, cool. Like, and I scrolled past. And then it wasn't until like I got off and I was like brushing my teeth or something. I was like, whoa, that was actually that was incredible. Right. But like just that platform and that space has reduced the like the beauty of that thing. So I think a lot about like, yo, this person must have like spent time, like, because I know, like, as an image maker myself, like, I know what goes into this stuff. Like, you know, and then somebody's just like, whoop, and I'm
or
like,
just
come on,
just double tap, like as in like literally just double tap. But like in the Instagram world, that finger is doing a big thing, but you come out of that finger and you're like, as in, I have the greatest admiration I can give in this world is something that's so small to my body that what does it even cost me? So as also a maker, knowing how easy it is for me to double tap someone, when someone double that was it.
That's it.
That the effect.
So
like, this is the end.
So now, like, even just like thinking about time through this lens, right? Like, and again, to like what we were saying earlier about like abstractions of time, like Instagram time versus real life, real human time. Like,
I think it has to do with scale, because think about it, like scale. If we're looking at what Instagram offers plenty, and for you to have plenty, you have to reduce the scale. Like even thinking about, for instance, why a whale moves so slow, because it's so huge. So its heart rate is much slower because it has so many miles to travel.
Yeah.
What?
No, I was just saying, to travel. Like I was picturing it, I was seeing it. I was like, damn.
That's the thing. That's where embodiment helps, because when you also see the time, it's like I cut my finger, like it sliding door sliced a kind of like a chunk of skin like away, kind of like folded.
Sorry.
And thank you. And I was like, you know what? I actually really like watching like wounds heal on my body, because I feel like Wolverine but in slow motion. Because I'm like, Because I'm like, X-Men are literally human beings, but just accelerated in time.
What?
Like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
where I need 1 week to get, I don't know, the skin to come together, Wolverine needs like 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
So after he heals it in 1 minute, what is he using that extra time to do?
Mm, mm.
We,
Um,
we jumped, we flew here, we flew from Instagram the scale points. Can you
Yes.
for me, please connect
Yeah,
that?
I think it's for me. I'm,
yeah.
I'm just thinking like when you have a when you try and reduce the scale of something to then achieve something else, like Instagram wanting to like offer us plenty, to
Mm-hmm.
offer us more.
Mm,
What do we want to do with that more? Now that we've gotten our
wow.
desire for more, what do we want to do with it?
Mm.
Mm.
It's also
That's
like they're not even they're like it's not for us to actually use. It's for them to make
bad.
money out of
But
it.
we
We
asked
make
for it
money.
too. I don't want to say that we not because we asked for it. We said, yeah, like the MTV is just a gatekeeper. Traditional media is just full of, well, like, a more democratized experience of entertainment. More people. Okay,
Yeah,
now we are here. We're
I'm not saying
complaining.
we don't ask
No.
for it, but I'm just saying that I think that we don't like we can't use all of what we're getting and the value that is being gained from the like multitude of what's it here is capital is the profit of
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
app. You know, we ask for it, but you know, in this extent, I don't know that anybody
I don't know that we asked for it like this.
in
Like,
this
Usoma,
in
you
this
said no,
way.
so please
Yeah,
expatiate.
that was my no. That was my no. Like, sorry, that no entered, but
That no answer though. I felt it.
yeah,
Sir, you were like, not I, sir.
not
not
I.
because I'm just like these people really know what they're doing. Like again, it's a question of intention. I think like it's like a road diverging woods or whatever, and like they took the like normally saying like the more capital driven, you know, at all costs road when it could have been the other like democratizing information, democratizing access. It could have been a more like you know there are other approaches and like maybe on the next podcast I forgot the name, nigga something
Niggas in shit. Niggas in
nigga
shit.
didn't share. We're going to like all the other forms that could have taken, but I feel like the foundational question for so many of these like other questions that we're now having to ask is why are you doing this, like
Yeah,
what's
why?
the aim?
Because it's not inevitable. Honestly, right now
Yeah,
we can always change the
it
direction,
can always change.
updates. But why are we still here? Why are we still
Why are
having?
we here?
But okay, you guys, why do you think? Why give yourselves like attempt to answer why?
No, my why, my understanding, the why that I know so far is that they do it because they need this company to be sustained and they need users in this company, and that's
Hmm.
why we are made
Can I
to. Yeah, yeah.
can I go
That's
a step further? It, I think my why is like to what we were saying earlier. They've like lost, you know, what shall it profit a man to
Take to
gain
lose gain the
to
world
lose
and
his
gain the
lose
soul
world
his
and
and
lose
life.
gain
his
the
soul.
world.
Yes.
They've gained the world, but they've lost their soul. Like they've got caught up in the abstraction that they've created to the point where like the thing that actually matters is now lost. And so we're all here like following them in
But
this
why
like
did they lose? Why did they choose to give up their soul?
bro, because it's like a
Yes.
powerful like it goes to stories like the beginning of you know full circle moment like the story that they've concocted is just so good, it's so powerful that they've
Well, that's what we're
forgotten
saying
that
about recyclable stories now. It's
but
so
like
good. It was so good. It was the one that people, because my question is also, these people, these they were talking about, are
yeah
they a fractal of their
mm,
users?
yeah
Are they a fractal?
Like, is it, are they sort of like going in the line that majority users, like, are they making decisions that their users would want them to make? Are we the anomaly, or are we the majority of people complain?
That's another interesting question. I also feel
yeah
like the people who are making the decisions are not, none of us is really understanding the full repercussions of social media and of the internet right now. So even when people are wanting and choosing these things, I don't know that we can like sometimes, yeah, like they're choosing to make more money, they're choosing to this, but I don't know that they know the full consequence of like maybe the health
Yeah.
consequence
Yes.
on people, or like
Yeah.
how much they're trading off when they
But
make, how much in wellness and health and like environmental impact that they're trading off when they choose to make a certain update, for example.
So are we
just
assuming because someone chooses to die, they don't that they're choosing that death?
They don't know what death feels like. They don't know what is going to happen after they're going to die. But also, even if they know, it's not every time. I'm not saying this is always going to be
Yeah.
the case that when someone chooses to die, they don't know.
Yeah.
Some people do, but some
So
don't.
who in this environment, like, do you think is more vulnerable to not knowing yet being the most affected?
I think all of us, right?
Are all of us in the world or three of us here?
All of us who are participating in one way or another. Because to your earlier question, I think the decision makers are fractals of the wider like user base.
Yeah.
Um, and the they that we talk about is actually all of us. Like we've all got caught up in this very very amazing replicating like self-sustaining story.
Yeah.
Uh,
Even by
yeah,
using it, right? Like we are enabling
By
it.
showing up, by just
Yeah.
by even having it on our phones.
yeah, yeah. But then
Wait,
also like I was going to
quick
say like
question. Does this have to be like
yeah.
1 hour? Because I really want to hear from you guys what you're doing with like how to, use embodied knowledge.
Oh yeah, that question is really deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Um.
yes. Uzama, you were saying something, Sha. What were you saying?
Okay, I'll say the thing and then I'll give my answer to this
Okay,
question.
thank you. Yeah.
I was just like going to expand on what I said earlier and like what we were saying about these decision makers and big tech companies, whatever, whether they know the extent. I feel like we
Mm-hmm.
never know the extent. Like
Mm-hmm.
whoever knows the outcome. Like we're not God, but
Yeah.
like how are you stepping into the thing? Like how are you like why you know
But what if
what you
God doesn't even know the outcome? Because if God was made in our image, like that's
Hmm.
why I love that Kevin Kelly's thing of saying for him to be able to go back to the church was when he had to say that if God is a God of questions, what if what he wants is to be given more questions, to be
yeah.
surprised with questions?
Yeah.
Because if we do not know and we can never get to the end, what if they are creating a condition where like they too will be like, I didn't know this, so wow, hey,
Ooh.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that this conversation of
I like
particles
that.
could occur.
Yeah.
I like that because from young I've struggled with the idea that so God knows that like he or she I mean
That's what the Bible tells us. So he's not
Omniscience,
teaching too.
omnipotent,
yeah.
Yeah.
omniscience,
Exactly.
omni everything.
You understand? But I've always been like how can you be omniscient and then you still allow this thing still happen to this person like this child still died or still suffered like this how
So
type
basically,
of
we're
thing.
giving God an out. We're saying God may actually have the opportunity to say, like, but I didn't know. I actually didn't know.
It really
Imagine.
As exactly when you I think I'm more sympathetic to that idea of God because how
yes.
can we say that God is made in our image and yet say it has nothing to do with us? Like the way of God is unknown to man. And even talking about embodied, what you're saying again is that, for instance, if we're made in the image of God, then that knowledge feels like it lives in my body. It lives in me. And sometimes what I'm fed actually argues with what came as I was born, like what I came with before I was like knowledge
That's
through my eyes or into my
Mm.
ears, like
yeah.
what lived and like because I was listening to Sadhguru actually yesterday night. I've been on some Sadhguru shit, but I was
Yo,
listening
same.
to Sadhguru
Same.
and he was saying that like we are here like for him we are here as an evolutionary memory, like it is the fact that we remember so much that our memory has now materialized into our existence.
That sounds like string theory on some level that I don't even fully grasp.
Can I just
How?
plug out? I say plug out. Shout out. One essay in
Okay.
this Eric Udore's collection, Can We All Be Feminists? I think it's by Brit Bennett, and it's called Body and the Blood. And it really covers this whole, like, trying to, like, the author, it was a personal essay, the author, like, struggling with the distance that the church had put to her between, like, the body and, like, God.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
it's
what
a
my
wonderful
film.
essay. Yeah.
That's
That sounds
exactly what
amazing.
my film was talking
Yep.
about. It's called Temple, as in relation to your body's the temple of the
Right.
Lord. So keep it holy. It's like what does it mean to keep something holy? Like you're telling me to keep something away from the nature of itself. That's how a thing becomes holy.
Yeah.
What do I do? Because it was like it's basically about me learning how to pole dance. But like the act of putting my body through like learning how to pole dance is so close to sin. But actually for me, it's making me grow. It's literally stretching muscles, stretching my tissues. I'm also learning about the ways I don't want to learn and the ways I do want to learn. But then all those things, I'm still supposed to like see it as so sinful. Like even some people I asked to interview about it were like, I'm not going to like because of my faith as a Christian, I'm sorry, I'm not going to participate because just by saying pole dancing and Catholicism, it already seems like something blasphemous.
Yeah. Is my flesh being weak? As it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Being weak.
Yes.
And women's bodies being the most likely to be hung on the line of like
My
keeping
dear.
your body a holy temple. But anyway, because look, in my class, does that because I mean the conversation embodiment and time is so there's so many different angles. Like I was saying about my injury, it shows me a lot because like I've left it open. I haven't used. I mean, apart from cleaning it that first day, I only just put it under water, and it's healing.
No get infection.
I know, but it's not the first time that I've done it. Like when I had I was in a motorcycle like burn. My thighs got burnt my leg got burnt like on a bike, and I actually like try to take a picture of it like every day and then every week to see. And now I look at my leg and that is gone. I can't see it anymore. I can't see it. So it's like time is the Jessica Doe always says that time is like perfect is the perfect and is like the easiest form of or material of alchemy to miss in any spell.
Yeah. We need this in every manifestation group. People need to be reminded.
Yeah, you have to be reminded of that's why I say patience is a virtue. It really is a virtue because if all you think is like of strong will and I think that's also what we're saying about a culture of domination is that you already design what your body is made for. You don't listen to what your body is telling you about what it is made for, what it is here to do. You don't listen to the mind of your toes or the mind of your knees. You only think of like, you think just at the surface, just your brain. Like, and the front is a part with the microphone. But like, the microphone is just the loudest. It doesn't mean that it's saying like, it's giving you new information. It's just giving you the loudest information, driving paranoia and anxiety.
Woo. That's fire.
So I guess that's my answer on embodied on just how we're thinking about like because I mean for Uzoma and I a thing always is trying to get back to the body as the OG digital
internet.
Right, OG internet.
You guys have very interesting ways of like, breaking things into questions, which I always appreciate. Always.
Sister, that's my whole life.
Yeah, it actually is your whole life. You were born to do that.
We were actually born to do this.
Yeah, it's great. Also, shout out body scan meditation as a first step to this thing.
Yeah.
Shout out to my theater trip.
Right.
Like, honestly, I could not have been anything else. Like I would not have been alive if I did not use my body. So when people sometimes ask me about my major in a way of like, I've had someone ask me, like when I talk, and then when I was talking to him, and then he said, "Don't you sometimes regret that you spent your time in university studying dance?"
Are you sure?
And I was just like, you don't even understand that all the ways in which you're imagining that I'm smart come from studying dance.
I mean, I like that I used the word imagination, because I was like trying to frame something when you asked that, when you said the question that he asked, right? Like, and it's connected to this top-down, egocentric culture of like trying to understand to the bottom.
Yeah.
It's like it really, really, really does something to your imagination.
Yes, it
That
does.
like even now, like as like something that I've been like dealing with, and I don't know what your experience is with this, Sheila, and like also your normal with like your own research is like, so like we're doing this, we're like asking these questions and like trying to like conceptualize like alternative like cosmologies or like alternative ways of being and stuff. And I keep running into like concept, like I can't even like my scope is limited. Like I'm aware that my scope is limited, but like
Yeah.
there's little I can do about it because like the imagination I have has been shaped by these systems that like
Yeah.
we're like subjected
That's what
to.
Aileen was saying. Aileen,
Mm.
that's what she was saying in her essay as well. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I feel that. I feel that.
Is a real but like I feel like patience is always a virtue. Like I feel like as long as we're on this path and we're asking these questions, like we just need to
Yeah.
give it time.
Yeah.
Like coalesce. Like I've already seen things coalesce. Like even just having conversations like this, like I've been holding on to the word like percolates a lot recently.
I love that. I love the image of that. I just,
Percolate.
yeah.
Yes,
I love the
percolate.
image of
However,
simmer.
Oh, I love
yes,
that.
I love
marinade,
slow
all
cooked food.
joints.
Like I love slow cooked.
Look,
Like there's just some
Damn,
foods that
percolate just made me
you can't
feel
rush
like,
stew. You can't rush
yeah.
yeah,
stew.
yeah,
Percolate's made me feel like I could sleep right now. I just,
yeah.
it's
Like
so,
we need to let, like it's like everything like act and react, right? So let like act, like have this conversation now, like engage, like think, but
Yeah.
then allow it, like
Yes.
let it
yeah.
simmer
Yes. Let
and
it
enjoy it
simmer.
in, and then which
Let
is
it
what they don't
simmer.
teach you in school. But hey,
That's why
I,
I like Stormzy's song where he was
yeah.
mm,
don't forget to breathe. I like that song a
don't
lot.
forget to breathe, man,
Don't forget to breathe.
for real, for me.
Oh, as we're talking about songs, there's one song by, oh, I don't remember his name now, but the name of the song is literally Do What Makes You Feel Good. It's such a nice, like, yeah,
Mm,
just do what makes you feel good. And it's
Yeah.
like,
that,
the world will continue to run something dry. The well will continue to run. I don't know what it says, but
somewhere
whatever, it will continue happening. So just
Yeah.
like do what makes you feel good.
We actually underestimate how important it is to remind people. Like I was having this conversation now with Nana.
Mm.
Somewhere at the end
mm,
was like a big debate or just about something. Like you just have to choose what you enjoy and do it.
Mm-hmm.
And he like brought it up again after we met and was like, that's really important. And I was like, but you've already been doing it. He was just like, but it's nice to hear.
facts. No, same. I really,
So I
I
just found
really
the guy's name. It's Terrell Hines, and the song is called Feel Good.
feel good.
Yeah, always a
Thanks
good
for that.
song. Love it.
Thank you. Thank you for leaving us with that beautiful song recommendation.
Yeah.
Thank you guys too for the time and for
Thank you
inviting
so
me.
much for the time, Immaculata. It was lovely, wonderful speaking
Took notes.
as always.
Yes, this was a river of a conversation.
It was
Yeah,
actually a river.
I
Like
love to
hopefully
percolate.
Mongo Park doesn't come and discover it.
Fuck Mongo Park.
Leo.
That's the name of another podcast. Fuck Mongo.
Fuck Mongo Park.
Guys, please
We'll
let me know
see.
when that was happening.
FMP. FMP.
I can't stand that guy. Like,
I can't stand that. I think maybe Mongo Park is not as bad as the people that forced him to be the person. Like
do you
the people that
understand?
wrote the
Maybe
text.
he was just
Yeah.
chilling.
Oh.
They were like, you discovered that river, B. He was
I
like,
see, do you understand? Like
yes. Oh my god.
anyway, have a wonderful evening, guys. This has
You
been a
too.
pleasure.
too.
Bye. Kisses.
Bye.
Uh,